I just had to add in my 2 cents. Well, all this going on around the world has got you thinking. It's got me thinking. Makes you wonder why people would do the things they do, and you ask why. You always ask the question, because you question authority. Well, here's the deal, okay? Embassies are criminal. They're criminal safe houses. Embassies are criminal safe houses. There is no diplomatic immunity. We understand that other countries are used for criminal purposes, whereas you can go to an embassy and escape. You can commit murders and rob, steal, and you can go to a safe house, and that's what these embassies are used for. You see, nations don't have authority over other nations. Countries don't have any authority over other countries. There's just no authority over anybody or anything. Okay, let's go on. Yes, there is no authority over countries or species of any races around the world. You don't have authority over each other. There's no authority and never was. Authority is a mental disorder. Governments and politics are all null and void. Authoritarianism cannot be proved. Authority cannot be proved. There are no rulers, leaders, royalty, entitlements, majority rule, ranks, positions, VIPs. There's no laws, regulations, no restrictions, no administration, no legislation, no statutes, codes, amendments. This is why the Constitution is void. There's no amendments. There's no authority to make amendments to it. Plus, the original contract is an authoritarian contract, in a sense. The ideals of what freedom really is: no government, no authority. Yeah, there was no trust, there was no loans, no credit. Banks never had authority. You see, your money was given to others by the banks that loaned credit. Understand, it was your money being loaned to somebody else. In other words, the banks never owned the damn money. They don't own the money, they make the money. They print it, of course, and make it off the flip machine and make money. But, you see, that's not a reason to be loaning money or even having authority to make the money. Nobody's got any authority to make any money, as far as having the authority to the printing press and making of it. Heavy. It's basically what a bank really was. It was your money you put in the bank to hold, and lock it in the safe or whatever. But they never had no authority to use your money to loan it to your neighbor to buy a house or somebody else. You see, back to there's no prime ministers. There's no ambassadors. There's no governments, no politics, no royalties, no authority, never was. To me, the greatest wake-up to humanity, this great wake-up, this great enlightenment and all of this, it's really coming to wake up to the fact that it's all about responsibility, and the fact that we're all going to be responsible for yourselves, ourselves. You see, authority is used as freeload tyranny. It's to get the free life without having to labor for it. See, they give themselves, dress themselves all up in expensive suits and ties and clean. Ain't got to drop it. Ain't got no dirt under their fingernails. They don't do the labors that the laborer would do. You see, it's a whole backward society in which the laborer should be more wealthier and more taken care of than those that aren't. No, I got that wrong. The wealthy, yeah, you see, you get the better life. We all get a better life than those that would just steal it and just want to delegate and have you do something for them. In other words, you don't serve anybody. You're not really serving anybody unless it's voluntary. And there's no pay for voluntarism. When you volunteer your time, that's it. You don't get paid for it. You don't get salaries. You don't get pensions. Especially, like I'm saying, from governments and anything that would call themselves authority of people. There is no pay. They don't get nothing. They don't get money for it. You volunteer to help your neighbor. Oh, you're going to volunteer to stop those that would steal. Just downright force themselves to take what isn't theirs, what they don't earn, what they don't do. Other than to scare us, to scare you with a bullet to your head. Or just the sound of their voice, the whole psychology behind authoritarianism. Practically enhanced, it's, excuse my, indoctrinated, more like the entire psychology behind authoritarianism. It's ingrained in our very speech, our very talk. The whole idea of communication, socialism, talking. The idea of coercion used within it to make others make things do their will. We will have to teach our children, even beyond, in raising up, that that nobody bosses nobody around. The whole movement against bullyism. These are just freeloaders wanting to get something, get it for free without no earning it for themselves, without actually laboring and doing it themselves. This is about responsibility. It's about being self-sufficient. Because we have those that would depend on you or me to do what they want, when they have to be doing it themselves. You see, you're going to be self-sufficient, and you don't get the free ride. And that goes especially for the governments now. They stole it. Authoritarianism has stolen people's ideals and dreams themselves. Then putting a price tag on it and charging you for it. And then making you into a slave. Making you into a slave. Well, the world changed. Astrological. I know all 12. It's not good enough to just know yourself. It's good to know everybody, your enemies, your friends, your family, and everybody. I know who's behind the curtain of the Wizard of Oz. And you know that I know. And you know this won't last for any for too much longer. It's up to you to decide to give people exactly what they want. For all eternity, you have never actually gotten what you really, really want. And I know what it is. And you know that I know what it is. You can't freeload off of people, and you can't have free life by stealing it. If I was an authority on authority, that's the authority. Your passive authority seems to be in every damn thing there is as far as why the tree of life is good and evil and knowledge of it. That's the problem. And the whole psychology of it is broken down now. There is no authority to forbid to know who the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain really was, and is, and that I know. It's simple. Too darn simple. There's only one way out of this cosmic fucking reality that we live in, that we gotta live with. That it doesn't seem to change. It probably never would. But that's just negative thinking. Because it's all too easy. All the protests and destruction and destroy fires and everything truly aren't fixing the problem. And they won't. How do we get one person? The one person that can do it, but you never know. You know they would never do it. Because they want their free ride. They just want to say it's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. In the back of your head, you know, no way. It will never be fine. But it could be. It's going to take one voice to tell all the world, no authority. Independence versus dependence. The answer, all too simple, will be total chaos, anarchy around the planet. Because those that have gotten that free ride and didn't want to be responsible, those are all the list of irresponsible, coming to steal what you got. And you know you're going to have to take them down. Is that what it's all being prepared for? Why the elite go running high? Thinking they're still going to rule over the world after this, while authority is cursed to the end of time. The question is, did God want us to speak? For we must have already been able to understand speech and talk already. If Adam and Eve could understand and talk. He tells them not to touch the tree of life, the knowledge of good and evil. Well, wait a minute. They already knew how to talk then. They already knew how to understand language and speech. wanted us to be animals, dumb animals, to not be able to have intelligence, to talk, to speak, and all this. Huh? You see, animals don't talk. They don't understand nothing. Maybe we were supposed to be stupid, dumb animals somehow. That's the question. If he's a real authority, authority has to be proven. And no one has ever been able to prove it. The magic thing there will be God himself. Will have to show himself. Has he ever? What are we talking about here? God is authority, okay, but it's not what you think. It's not about authority over humanity. It's just knowledge. The computer is God. It has everything that is information. You see, it doesn't rule over us. It doesn't steal a free ride off of us. It is those that have taken away all the jobs and all the work by stealing the profits and stealing our labors and our dreams. It is they whose jobs are going to be null and void. It was all supposed to be voluntary. You don't get no pay, no salaries, no pensions. Freeloaders. The way. Dead stop reality. Well, since the banks never had no authority to use your money to lend to somebody else, they have no authority over money. Well, I guess everything you got, you're going to get to keep. Because you don't owe the banks nothing. They became criminals and lent the money to other people that was your money. Yes, we were given authoritarianism is the tree of life, the tree of good and evil. The very ability to have coercion in your sound and your voice, the physical, making fear against people, to bully for your free load and your free life. While they live better than you. Jealousy? No. More like well, it's basically, yes, inequality. Inequality, that's what it is. You see it, you know it. And nobody's more deserving than anybody else. There is no special privileges, no VIPs. Every damn law, restriction, regulations ever made against people are all scrap. Constitution. constitutions, amendments, everything. It is justice to be taken in our own hands against anybody that's going to come around and just mess up the volunteering of being together in harmony and peace. It will have to be total anarchy because they are a predator type. The worst of predators, the authoritarianism used by all peoples, filters all the way down to your neighbors, your friends, your family, everything. And I know who they are, the worst behind this, that Wizard of Curtain of Oz. You won't be able to hide forever. You can't say that something is forbidden. Because nothing is forbidden. Because there is no authority. Prove authority. Everything that is authoritarianism is grand larceny, theft, extortion, racketeering, the broadest theft of mankind since the beginning of time. To steal a free ride, free load life, while as to have you serve them as slaves. It is cursed to the end of time, cursed forever until it completely stops. The end of reality, as H.G. Wells in The Future Time Machine, where there was none of it ever existed, not even books. It had to be the question of why the man would go back with 3 books to re-educate humanity, that they already had the ability to talk amongst themselves and be together. What's the necessary? Why would it have been even necessary when education serves criminal activity? Entrepreneurship is nothing but greed. And those that just profit off of it, gamble with it. You know, what's wrong with the stock market? But you don't gamble and scoop and take and steal with other people's profits. There is no middleman. There's no market. You market in your own town, but you don't have people all involved, investors, loans, everything. Because these people don't do the actual work. They gamble with your profits. That's why money is a mental illness. It will never be trusted with anybody. And so the problem will never end. Then again, maybe we could still use it. After we get rid of those unneeded jobs, those people that don't do anything for anybody, don't give you exactly what you want. You want to be told exactly what you want to be told. You don't want to be told that that's the way it's going to be. No. We're going to be told that, I would say, dead stop reality right now. Well, the President of the United States would be the one that could do it. Do you think he would want to do it? Not when he's just wanting a free ride, a free load, the free life, by stealing it. And looks all casual and suited up and everything, and they tell you that you're the problem. You know, this world is backwards and always has been. And it just won't do. Stop it all. Take a biggest vacation of your life. That was my ideal. How do you stop an entire world, an entire planet, from its reality? You just stop working. Put down the tools. Stop everything. The best protests ever. They're not gonna come and kick your doors in and say, go to work, be productive. What's this argument about libertarianism? What is to be liberal when they tell us, both sides tell us freedom is all about freedom. Freedom for them, but not for you. It's their jobs that are gone, never to exist again. And they're going to torture you to say to keep their jobs. But you know what? You outnumber them so big, so incredibly. All you got to do is stop. The man has to come on the microphone and say, hey, to the entire world, it's done. You're free. Absolute free. Irresponsible will become responsible to the responsible. And there will be no more servitude, maids, butlers, chauffeurs, all this serving work. The more you got, the more you're going to do it yourself. That's the responsibility. You want to have more than everybody else. But we don't do your work. That's the responsibility. Independence. You will not become dependent on others just because you have more. That's why the independent is the man for the job. Beyond all your fucking conservative, liberal bullshit. It's a wonder why libertarianism is put down so badly as it is. That they're just more right than the right. When you realize that the right side of the brain is the one that's doing all the lying, and the left side of the brain is actually the truth. Be the independent. The whole damn English language is a system of authoritarianism. Authority actually means to have the knowledge of something. It doesn't mean to have control or anything over other people. It's just knowledge of something. But there is no ruling over people. All these words, you break them down in the dictionary, even. And you just think about the words themselves. Especially all these terms and logic that they throw at you, telling you that this is authoritarianism. It's authoritative words, but there is no authority.